good today. All right, looks like we're good to go. So, open forum, live Q&A here, trade ideas, closing down the market, last half hour here on Tuesday, October 19th. It's an open forum. I don't come with anything necessarily prepared, although I have a few things to show off today from the new beta that had been put out. But I'll open it up for the moment here if there's questions coming in. If not, I'll get to a few things I want to show you all, go over. Hopefully, you find them exciting as I do. So, not seeing anything coming in yet. So, some of you that are in here may have heard us discuss in different webinars um, what we call our Market Explorer. Allows us a few different, or allows us several different tools that don't really exist within Trade Ideas itself actually at this time. So we have the ability to create some scans. It takes a lot of math and a lot of work and programming, but we're able to get to data points that don't actually exist within the system at this time. So for anybody here that is upgraded to the new beta, all right, if you were to come and you go to new and you come to Market Explorer, should now be there with a few other nice new tools as well. You click that, you're going to get a window that looks like this. We can right click here, and in the server window, you're going to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scans for you that we have created. They're box scans. There's really no adjusting them at the moment, but go down them. We have an 820 cross on gappers. This is on a 2-minute chart. A daily RSI divergence for long strategy. The TI strength alerts, you now have access to that actual window that creates your strength alerts every week. Bear flags, bull flags, both on dailies, and a daily RSI divergence on the short side of things here. So I've been watching TI strength for the last few days. All right. And here's what this looks like as we click that, and we can see everything comes in. All right. Right here, you've got your dates, what its average volume's been, its rating here according to how Michael has programmed this to look for it. All right. And your last price, and of course, your symbol. So you can size the columns, but that's about all we can do. Right click. We can change the server window again. We can link it just like what the new linking function is in the new beta here. So there's a bunch of new stuff going on here in the beta. So if anybody has questions about that, about the linking, any of those things, please start firing them away for me. sorry, I clicked mute by accident. But all right, so what I was just demonstrating, I'm sorry, is that the symbol linking works much the same as it previously did. In the charts, you still have to select under properties if you want it single symbol linking or not. So you see the check coming in and out. Then you can decide, are you linking to everything or are you linking to a specific color scheme? When you come to the alert windows in the top list, they work like they always have, where the same symbol linking is always going on, but now you can select the color scheme you want to be linked to, all right, on your alert lists and top list windows. On the single stock, it works the same as it did before, where you're going to choose, do I want to symbol link? Do I not want to symbol link? And then you choose your color scheme from there. So that's kind of how that works in those. Nope, not you, Dan. Sorry, I must have clicked the mute by accident. So still new software that we're testing out for the broadcasting, separate from what we do during the earlier live day. There's some hitches with the other software that we use, that when we close down the YouTube feed, it takes some time for YouTube to crunch that data coming in from that software to put it back out as a recording. So we can't start the stream right away. So it's something different that I've come up with here to be able to stream right after Barry does. Those are kind of the short and skinnies there as far as those go in the beta. There are a few other things here. If you come to tools, you're going to find your formula editors in here now. I'm not sure if you guys have the performance monitor, but you very well may. You will have this symbol linking for the channel, so it's going to tell you what's linked to what in here for you. All right. So, as I've mentioned for quite a while, some different things that are coming down the pipe here, some exciting stuff, and we're, snowballs rolling down the hill. We're going to keep this stuff coming for sure, right into the new year here. So some new developers that were brought in here and working directly with Dan and Brad to really start to, push the limits on some of the stuff that we haven't been able to do for a while. So with that said, we leave it as an open forum currently. So fire away any questions that you guys have for me. If not, we can dive into some different things here. Take a stroll around the markets. If someone has a scanner they'd like built, we could work on it together, things like that. So aside from that, I guess, we could dive into a little bit of market recap as, we're less than 22 minutes from the close now. So theme, path of least resistance again, another strong gap, holding that gap, took a little dip here. We're all-time highs tomorrow, the next day, it looks like, though. I had a joke bet with someone last, either Thursday or Friday. I said we were going to do all-time highs Thursday this week. I think I won that bet. I think we're going to win that bet. So, it was more of a joke than anything else. I'm not in the camp that I'm a bull, I'm a bear. I'm just, I'm what the charts tell me, and the charts have continued to tell me there's no panic yet. When we do get a massive sell-off, no one will have seen it coming. And there'll be 1,000 people that say I called it, but those 1,000 people have been calling it for 10 years before they got their one right in 10 years. So for now, it continues to be path of least resistance. If you follow the charts, the big boys, a lot of them have done the same thing and recovered. You're going to find it here in Apple, looking strong again, looking healthy again, back up above the 50, gapped above it today. After running into it yesterday, closing strong there, it looks like. I suspect it'll be no different here with Google. Right there, right with it. Facebook, are they out of the dungeon? I know they might be a little different, but I suspect, they're looking much better over the last 4 days here. Look like they put in a bottom here for now, barring any other news that comes out, that's going to hurt them. Amazon's always a little different. Is this right? Is that the right symbol for Amazon? I can never remember their symbol. There we go. But they're strong over the last few days too. I don't put them quite in the same category as the other three that we just looked at because of they just have so many more parts to them. But it even looks like Amazon starts to make a trend up again here. And a shot at this resistance level here, pretty significant resistance level coming up in Amazon. We take a look. Who else is a big deal here? Netflix. All right, I suspect we're going to see it all around the horn. So Netflix sitting right there near all-time highs, or lifetime highs, whatever you want to call it. Strong up here. This EMA has caught it and just really kind of held it. It pierced it yesterday. Sellers couldn't do anything. I don't know if that's running some stops or what's going on there. I mean, that's a significant move in a fairly sizable float of stock. So all the same, that's a beautiful setup coming right there in Netflix, by the way. Um, Sorry, just pointing this out to the other traders I work with. So that's the story around the horn as far as that goes. I always like to poke in at the RSP, even closer to all-time highs here. For those that don't know the RSP, that's looking at the S&P 500, but equally weighted, so not so tech heavy. And that's what that's what we're looking like here. We're looking strong again coming into it. So again, kind of an open forum here. So I'm just creating the content on my own. If you guys have questions about the software, want to see something demonstrated, some capabilities, you throw a chart at me, any of those things like that. So, but again, that RSP, that's a healthy looking chart. I'll bring a drawing tool over here. Also, let me know if my audio is not good. Let me know if the visual is not good for you guys. On the screen that I'm looking at, it looks like my video is okay. I just like to check with you guys, but so RSP, that's looking real healthy through there. I'm gonna find all the same stuff I imagine with the Qs. Triple Q representing your NASDAQ, real strong. Blasted through the 50 yesterday. Gapped up, pulling away on that gap all day long again today. So all-time highs, we're right there. So the rear with Qs, no surprise at that. We just looked at with Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google. All right, that's going to be, I don't know, 50% of the weighting of this or something like that. I haven't looked in a long time, but it's a massive weighting in there. And I always like to look at the diamonds all the same. Grant always looking at the diamonds here. We could see all-time highs in that tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me at all to find that. So that's kind of the shot in the arm here around the bell as far as the index ETFs go. We'll take a look here. Let's just scroll down on sector analysis here. I'm going to bring over my list. All right, we got the pot smokers coming in here. So, MJ's just beat up beyond belief. I'm not sure what this is all about today. Did someone else legalize weed today? Maybe it's the only thing I can figure. I just, at this point, just figure it's de facto legal everywhere. Nothing to write home about. Take a look at what is it? Cron is one of the bigger pot stocks. It's probably reacting the same. Yeah, something went on here. So ACB, is that Aurora Cannabis? Maybe, right? Forgive my bad memory. Yeah, there we go, Aurora Cannabis. So same thing. So there must have been some kind of news. There must have been something that came out for those. I'm not sure what that's all about. But there it is anyway, sitting at the top of the sector analysis for today. But if, we look here in the position and range, I mean, position and range for the year, it's total garbage. Same with the K-Web as far as China goes. That's your Chinese internet stocks. And when I say total garbage, I just mean, there's no major position in the year of those up. They've lagged the market the whole year long, never even seen the light of day once. They've been down the entire year. That's what that means. Your solar stocks are trying to make a break for it. They've been in a big range, for a long time now, going back into the spring off the winter highs. And it kind of looks like they're trying to go positive for the year now. They started up here. We are up here, that big fall, and we've been range bound ever since. So you can draw a line here. Horizontal here, horizontal down here. All right, And, it's a pretty significant range we've been in for a long time. All right. So some work to do still for those stocks to get through that all. But, you're going to have your Sunrun Corp and things like that that'll all be tied to that. That'll make a run with those. So let's take a look here just for fun. I know this was a big runner when Solars did their thing. So yeah, much of the same, looks very similar to the chart we just looked at with TAN for the Solars. So this might be something to put on your watch list. See if we can't make a run here at 60 if if the Solars get going. Shipping continues to be strong. All right, it's not an extremely liquid ETF here, but all the same, taking a look at it, very strong chart here. Pulling back into the moving averages a little bit. I always like to see the faster moving averages, and they kind of make this hook move here, all right, and catches that price action, then gives it a lift back up. So that's your shippers. It's going to be your large China caps here, the FXI. So it looks like China's trying to turn a corner here. Winter highs, and just been kind of beaten up ever since the winter highs, constantly putting in lower highs. So, and what I mean by lower highs is, here we are at the all-time high. That's a lower high. That's a lower high. And it gets trapped here on that lower high. And then it fell and tried to bounce, and that's a lower high. And then it fell and tried to bounce, and that's a lower high. And now it's stuck in this range here. So we'll see what that equals in the coming days. I'm not sure what kind of data is coming out of China. You never can really trust it, but all the same, Chinese stocks are a great trading vehicle. See this gap and kind of go all day with it. Does that mean that there's a little alpha to be had the next few days in China? Very likely, very possible, I would say. You can't keep something like that down forever, not an economy like that. PBWs, your clean energy. Kind of same thing here, just range bound. A lot of things made those highs in the winter. And I think we've seen the same kind of theme here. We saw that with the K-Web, the TAN, the FXI. Now we're seeing it again here. All right, these early highs in the year, and just kind of stuck in this downward moving range. At what point does this break? You can draw some wedges. You can draw anything you want on these charts. Your eye will see what your eye wants to see. But I would say that, your clean energy is also going to be tied with your TAN here, your solar. So if the solar start to break out, you might see this overall start to make a bit of a move too and get catch a little tailwind from that. Pulling down the line here, silver, silver just, I don't know. I'm just not a believer. That's all there is to it. Big gap up and just kind of fades the rest of the day here. So, it's really oversold for, getting really, really oversold. So are we, bouncing into this here? Are we going to bounce over these moving averages, or are they going to roll back over the moving average? Not really sure on silver, not really sure on those precious metals. And, I would have to say that I'd have to believe that cryptocurrency has taken a really heavy effect on these things to, a newer breed of trader finding, inflation hedges and value in cryptocurrency instead of your traditional inflation hedges. So it has to be playing some kind of role. I'd have to believe that. Of course, I'm no expert, and what do I know? Medical devices, so this one's a little different than everything else we've been looking at. It's up on the year. All right. So, it made a nice move here and a pullback earlier in the year, made a new high in the spring, pulled back into the early summer, into the late spring. And it's been really straight up since the summer right into the fall here. I'd say look for this pattern to start to develop here and maybe take a shot at all-time highs again right there. That's all-time highs, right? Yep, lifetime highs right there. So that would be my 2 cents on medical devices. Definitely something to watch, though. Back to silver, same thing. These are going to be your silver miners. Reflects the silver chart basically. So again, just not a believer there. Emerging markets. This goes back to the theme early in the year. We make all-time highs back here, and been kind of just in a grinding downward range ever since. So not sure that we break that. That's going to be your level to want to break. Try to make a shot at that level there. That's kind of what my eyes are seeing as far as that goes. I still see our small crowd is very silent. So, please jump in if anybody's got anything to add. that'll, let's call that it for the top sectors moving on the day. Let's move to the bottom sectors. Take a look here. You're gonna have your metals and mining, but this doesn't just include your precious metals. It's going to be, everything, your iron and copper, your nickel, all those things like that are some more practical uses. I like the way that's setting up here. Stock that I've traded recently and playing a little bit. I think this is it. SLCA, is that what I've been doing? Yeah. So something kind of similar here. Um, I caught it back here and sold it here. Didn't do a ton on it, but I just thought I saw a move coming. It made a nicer move without me, but that's just the way it goes. We don't get bottoms, we don't get tops. Or if we can get the meat, that's what we want. And I like the way that this moving average is catching it here. This is a significant level of resistance, and we can move up to this level here if we can take and challenge that one. So we'll see, these construction bills and whatever they call it, the rebuilding and all that stuff like that, and bridges and roads and internet for everybody and all that stuff like that. So we'll see if some of these stocks can't catch a little tailwind from that. I know things have been passed. I don't know to what extent. And like I said, I keep my nose out of that business mostly. TLT's at your 20-year bond. Not much to comment there. I'm not a bond guy. Your airlines, again, back to this theme early in the year. All right, this was a little later in the year than some of the other ones were topping out back here in January and February. This one topped out back here. What am I using for my sector analysis scan? Just a plain top list. And then I just attached a symbols list with all these symbols on it. So it's only going to look at the symbols that I told it to in here. That's it. That's all I'm using for it. I think Andy years ago had shared with me his symbols list for EFTs, ETFs, excuse me. And then I added a few others on my own over the years. I've added RSP on my own. I'm not sure. There's a few others that I decided to add in here. I think there was a Vonage one that or not Vonage, a Vanguard telecommunications one that I added. Doesn't trade much, but I put it on there anyways, just for fun. So the Jets, I saw this. It's kind of breaking that down now. If it can hold here and start to move, then we get a cup and a handle. If it can do that, that's an if though. Right now it's feeling kind of heavy. It's hard to say. Winter's coming in the northern hemisphere. People are going to want to travel. It's been a long time since a lot of people travel. More people become impatient. There's also, vaccine's good, vaccine's bad, vaccine passport's good, vaccine passport's bad. All that's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. What is relevant is where the money's flowing to. So right now we're seeing a selling off in the Jets, meaning, the bet right now is traveling is iffy. Traveling is up in the air. That's what the bet is, and that's all I'm concerned about is the money. That's what the charts say. So I'd like to see this base out in here. I would like to not see it dip below this 50-day moving average. Dips below that 50-day moving average. We're coming and testing these lows back here is my best guess. That's my 2 cents on the Jets. And again, I'm no expert chartist. I'm no CMT. I just, I'm kind of looking at the charts and, what I'm seeing in there. That's it. So set my gap up scanner, price $5, volume 2 million. Yeah, Martin. So we could do that for you here. I'll put this on hiatus. This is what I'm really here for, to help with these kinds of things. So if you just want those 2 things, Martin, it's real easy, all right? And let me know if I'm going too fast for you, but let's get our menu bar. So we got the menu bar here there, Martin. All right, we're going to come to new. Let's go to top list. All right. And we can come to window specific filter. All right. And let's clean this up. I don't know what's going to come in here. It populates based on things you've been recently using. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff in here. I've been doing a lot of messing around with scan building. So I'm going to click hide unused. You should do the same, Martin. All right. Let's get it to the basics. And these are like the basic filters that it's always going to want to kind of load for you. And so you said price $5. So I'm guessing you want a minimum of $5. And that's where you put it in the minimum column here, $5. You can put a maximum if you want, whatever you want that to be. You don't have to have a maximum. You can erase it, let it go to infinity. That's entirely up to you. And you want to see volume 2 million. So if you're talking about volume today, you want to see it's traded at least 2 million shares today. This filter right here, your volume today filter, we're going to put a 2, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. All right. And that's the basis of it. That's it. The scan will now look for every stock in the U.S. market that is $5 or more and has traded at least 2 million shares today. All right. We're going to go ahead and come to summary. All right. Or you can click OK and it'll take you to summary. Go to OK. It takes us to summary and we can name the window. All right. You're calling it your gap scanner. So my gap. Now we don't have a gap filter in here. We don't have a change from close filter or anything else like that. So Martin, let me know if you want to search for things like that, because before we close this out and set it up, we can always come back and edit it. Of course, we come to the search tab and we can look for gap. And we got gap in a few different ways here, right? You want to go in the position of the open. You want to go gap for bars. Do you want to do a gap percent? Do you want to do a gap dollar? And gap filter works a little funny like this. So in the pre-market, the gap will constantly calculate the change from close actually. So in the pre-market, the gap and the change from close work exactly the same, those two different filters. As soon as the market opens, though, change from close continues to calculate, because change from close is always changing. Where a gap is a gap and it's static. That's it. Once you gap, you gapped. All right. So once the market opens, the gap remains static. Your gap 2% is 2% from the previous day. That's it. You can't change the gap once the market's open. That's how that works. So let me know if that helped, Martin. We can circle back with you on that. The last little bit here, if you want your scan to work in the pre-market, all right, first, there are filters that do not work in the pre-market. So you cannot sort on those. So for example, we can see this relative volume filter here. You cannot sort on that in the pre-market. It will not work. It'll block the data. That's it. So I suggest if you're trying to do pre-market scanning, sort on the change from close filter. All right. That's my recommendation to anybody trying to scan pre-market. Change from close filter. Your second part is you cannot have a filter that does not work in here with the value in the pre-market. So relative volume, you cannot use that in the pre-market. In its place, you could use volume percent today. And that works almost the same as the relative volume filter. It's just slightly different how it weights the volume. The rest is the same. They're both 10-day averages. This is going to be a ratio. The other one's a percent, but that's really, really the big difference is the weighting of how the volume is calculated. That's it. All right. We go ahead and click OK. Scan's ready to go. All right. There it is. It's going to return everything that works for us. Now, a next step with this is right click, time frame. Live always means you're going to be live in the pre and post market. Live during market hours means you're only live when the market's open. The last part here is if you have a top list that has, let's say, 500 stocks that meet it, only the top stocks that are in their set record count number are going to make it based on the server sort. So we server sorted on change from close volume. Okay. All right. So there's a limit to how many stocks can come into this window. Right click, time frame, set record count. All right. Right now the max is set at 100. So that means the top 100 stocks with the change from close are going to be at the top of this list. The next 100 to whatever is there that meets the filters, they're blocked right now. We can up this number to 1,000, but by doing so, that means now returning from the server every 30 seconds it's trying to look, even if 1,000 symbols aren't going to fit it, it's trying to look for 1,000 symbols to fill this list. The more top lists you have like that, the harder your machine has to work. So keep that in mind, that having top lists with high record counts are going to slow you down eventually. All right. Hopefully that was informative enough, Martin. Let me know if not. We can circle back on any of that. And all that same concept will apply to an alert window. Just with an alert window, you have to add the alert or event. That's all. And again, Martin, let me know. I can always circle back on that. Vin, hi, Chris. Some of my scans have symbol name with the A plus sign at the end. Does that mean plus? It's NYC special symbols. I don't have a... That's all it means. They're symbols for different preferred stocks, and there's a bunch of different stuff. But what you can do to get rid of those is this here. Right-click the scan, come into configure, come to symbols lists, all right? Look for add existing list, all right? And you're going to look for, scroll down here. It's going to be somewhere here. Maybe it's not there. Maybe it's at the top. NYC, special NYSE symbols, all right? Click that, and you're going to see now it's over here, all right? Then you're going to click that list, all right? and then you're going to do the drop down menu and exclude the following lists. All right. So now it's going to exclude whatever list you clicked here, that being the NYSE symbol. Those will no longer come through your scan. You can do the same thing. You can look through all these here. We try to get them all. It's not easy. New issues come out all the time. So keeping up on these things isn't always a perfect science. However, what you can also do is you come to tools and you come to symbols list. You can start to create your own list, call it stocks I don't want to watch, so create a new list and whatever you want to call it. Start putting those on there. And then when you come back after you create a list, when you come back into your configure and you come to symbols lists, they will be here in this drop down menu. So you can see all these things that I have personal here: my holdings personal, my liked personal, global analysis personal, global tracker, global watcher, test list, automation list, SPACs, all these different things that I've created. My own personal lists are all there, and all your own personal lists will be there as well. So hopefully I have rambled on enough here to give you a little bit to work with there, Vin. Let me know. If not, I can circle back. Anybody else that's in here, I see the numbers coming up and down. Won't lie, not as much of a crowd as I hoped I would have after a few weeks of doing this, but all the same. Please fire away some questions. It's more fun for me when you guys are asking questions. All right, sorry, just catching up on some internal messages coming in through Slack just to make sure I'm not feeling left out on any of this. So move that menu bar back over. All right, so I'm guessing that thank you means that worked for you, Vin. Very happy to help you with that there. We hadn't talked about Holly yet, so we're just coming. Market just closed, so we're just past the hour here of 4 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard. Okay day from Holly, it looks like. Again, talked about this the other day. I'm not crazy about how we show these numbers here. Two things I like to look at is your max profit. It's kind of your spread between your conservative and moderate profits. All right. And then, I like to look at the moderate profit in the dollars. I like to look at the conservative profit in dollars. Percent has its time and place. It doesn't work the way it's displayed here. That's all for me. Just, again, my 2 cents. But, some okay stuff that was coming through here. This obviously was pretty solid trade the whole day here. Zion, ZION, got banking stock. Nice signal here off this pullback here. Bear trap. I think they called that perfect. It was, really looked like it was ready to move down. Bears thought they had it, moved right back up and snapped and caught any of those bears that were short that stock. You can see not a real big short float, but there's been a short growth in it recently. So some of those people might have been trapped in there, today a little bit. And, this kind of longer it sits up here in this kind of cradle, maybe making a move again here. So we'll see what happens. And anybody that's been in these live streams with me, they know that the XLF, the KRE, the KRB, the regionals, the big guys in the finances, they're all sitting near all-time highs. They're all pretty strong. They've been strong even, in the downturn. And when I say downturn, I use that term lightly, over the last few weeks before we started to move back up to all-time highs again. So just a great alert from Holly here. There's time to get into it here. If you didn't get it here on this candle, there's definitely time in here with plenty of alpha, a pullback even here. You never came back to the entrance price. So very strong move. Just very nice right up through the end here and strong close, so that, something definitely put on the list for tomorrow. Again, no happy accident that it struggled right around here. Definitely resistance from a few days ago and resistance going back right there. It looks like 2. But, could be some meat on that bone for tomorrow. Over 2 million shares traded today, doing 2 1/3. More volume than its average over the last 10 days, right into the close here. So that's some good stuff, some good metrics there from Holly. Again, does it mean it's going up tomorrow? I don't know. But what it does mean is it's certainly worth keeping an eye on for tomorrow. Let's see, Vin, would like a scan that would find stocks that are running during the day but have pulled back. Yeah, that's always a tricky one for me, Ben. But this is what I would suggest to you. I've tried to build some alerts. I just haven't had a ton of success. But my thought process behind it would be this: doing an alert window. All right, and I would use for the catalyst. 5 minute high is what I've been thinking, but I'm starting to change my mind into a 15-minute high. So that would be my suggestion. 5 minute high. We're gonna put something together real quick here. All right. So we're gonna add that 5 minute high. Select alerts. Let's get rid of new high. All right. And then let's come to Windows specific filter. Let's see what's in here to work with right away. All right. So we want to say it's pulled back. All right. Let's get rid of all this stuff here and start kind of fresh. Want to say it's moved up. So let's go with range first. All right. So let's come in here to search. Let's look for range. All right. And let's look at filters right now. All right. And let's go with today's range. All right. And let's add that filter. All right. And let's say that the range today is, it's a good number to throw in here. I like to use a show me function for this. Let's just throw in a 0. No, let's throw in a -3 and a 3. Oops, sorry. Wrong range filter, do a -3. Let's go to 0 and a 3 here. All right. So between 0 and 3% is the range. All right. So there's filter number 1. All right. Now let's look at a position in range today. All right. And let's say that we want it. There's our position in range. Let's add that filter. We don't want to see it obviously above the high of the day. All right. So and we want to see that it's pulled back. All right. So let's put a max of, let's say, 50% right now. So we know we're off the high of the day today, no matter what. All right. But we also want to know that it's still made a move today. All right. So come back to search and let's say, say position in 30-minute range, right? Let's add that filter. All right. Let's say we want to see it 20% off the low of that. So hopefully you're kind of getting the concept of what I'm looking to try to do here. All right. Let's give it some price numbers here. We'll go $5 to $100 for fun. Let's look at, try to find stocks that, trade at least 100,000 shares to this point, So there we go. And we can use the count filter. It's something I just started kind of using a little bit recently. And if you don't know what the count filter means, it means how many times this alert or this event has triggered. So maybe the first 5-minute high wasn't good enough for us. Maybe take a second or third one to start to try to make a move. So we'll throw a 3 in that count filter for fun. See what kind of results we get here. So I have no idea what this is going to look like, but we're going to look for a pullback from high. We're going to call that. There we go. All right. I have no idea if this is even going to have an alert from today or not, but this is, where we start. History, today. Let's see what happens here. And nada. So I wonder what filter's blocking us. Perhaps my range filter it isn't playing nice with. Let's see if this helps us out any. Let's get rid of that range today. There we go. So that range filter is hurting us. So, all right. So, and now a 5-minute high is an alert that will work in the post market. All right. And everything else filter wise that I used works in the post market too. Let's take a look at what might have come through this today. All right. Going to be a lot of alerts, I'd imagine. So I don't know. This is going to be some special acquisition company. Yeah. So nonsense. This came through at 950. So it had made this high up here. It had pulled back to here, got the alert on this bar. Not bad, 2762. Moved up here to almost 28. So, 30 cents or so off that alert. Let's see, NTR. Okay, again, made that initial high here, caught it back on this here, made a move up to there afterwards. 71.22 was the alert. So down in here, actually caught that way down here. All right, I made a move all the way up here, up over. At the end of the day, just popped over 72. So there's another nice alert. All right. Gonna have ETFs coming through here. We can always exclude the ETFs. Now this one didn't do it. It made the move back down here. Tried to catch it on the bounce, but it just kept bouncing the ball down the wrong way for us. Let's see, VTB. Same concept here, nothing great. TCOM, take a look there. Well, you can see what this is trying to look for here, all right? And you're seeing it early in the day. So, made this initial move up here, all right? This is where it opened, so it's position and range. That's our position and range that's working there for the top of the day. Now over I believe we put a 30-minute filter in there for the next part and this here. So, get that alert at 3070 and moved all the way up to just over 31 here by that time. So not a bad side. Seen some stuff here. Definitely something to work with. HCC, this is actually something I've been watching. I think it's on my liked. Coal, right? Yep, on my liked list. So again, alert came through at 2633. Shortly afterwards, it was 26 and 2660. So again, not bad. 30 cents off that alert. Not exactly an easy trader, these ones here, the way that they're whipping around. But, we're finding kind of what we want to see here. Our friend Halliburton here. Another beautiful catch on this one. So, all right, we're definitely, now it helps that the market gapped up and it was on our side. So finding these things that gapped, that opened here, fell, and then returned on the day certainly isn't hurting. So, absolutely. We're going to save and share that to the cloud. And this is now yours to do what you please with. But Vin, through that exercise, did you kind of get the concept of how I was able to find that using those position filters? So yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm going fast there. I forget that, I've got a few years on everybody on this. So again, if we start in the configure here, all right. And first thing I had to do is decide I need an alert. I need a catalyst to trigger to say, hey, boom, this event happened. And if we're looking for a pullback alert, obviously it can't be using a new high on the day because a new high means the pullback had happened and is over at this point. So the 5-minute high is what I'm using to say, hey, I need some kind of trigger. I need some kind of trigger for this to be an alert window. Otherwise, I could just use filters with a top list and get rid of this. But I want to trigger saying, boom, time stamped at this second. These filters were met when this this alert happened. That's why I picked the 5-minute alert, so that we have something that can work when something is pulled back during the day. All right. And then, I just happen to pick a few different position and range filters here. Nothing special. All right. Position and range in today. So I just wanted to make sure that if we click on this here, I said, show me stocks where the price is below the low of this range. All right. Also show me stocks where the price is at the low of this range. All right. And show me stocks where the price is no more than 50% above the low of this range, meaning that whatever range we've already established on the day today to this point when the alert triggers, I don't want to see stuff up here at the top of the range. I want to see stuff only 50% of that range. I want to see that it was up here at some point, but now it's only down here or lower at some point. That's what that position and range filter means right there, right? That's how that one worked. And then I also want to know that, well, while it's fallen on the day, I want to make sure it's just not a knife that I'm catching either. So I want to see it's made a move up recently too. And so that's why I used a position in 30-minute range. So again, I want to know that it's off the low of that range, that I want to know that it's no higher in that 30-minute range either. So that, keeping with the pullback theme. Now I could also throw a 0 in here to say, I also want to make sure that I'm not catching a knife this way too. And that I've got a floor here within the 30 minutes. So it's between, it's 30-minute range, the low of the 30-minute range, but no more than 20% higher than the 20-minute or 30-minute range is right now. And just for fun, let's see what would have happened if we did that with this alert. And go ahead and click that again. And there are other range filters we can throw in there too, to do this on different time frames. So, real versatile, the stuff that we can look at here. Let's click today. And just for fun, I just want to see what might have come in, if that changed anything here for us. So far, a lot of the same stuff, it looks like. This ACI might have been new. I don't think that was in here before. So not bad here. It continued to fall afterwards, but made a nice move afterwards. So 27.89 moved all the way up to 28. You had a buck on that almost off that alert. Now there's a little pain to be had on that alert, but no happy accident. If we just happen to dial in on the daily chart here now, that this is almost in line with this right down here. So obviously the buyers came right back in on that. I don't think that's any happy accident that happened there. Some of the same alerts that we saw before. CXI, this is another energy that I was looking at, but this one happened to be a knife. So here we go. An example where it didn't catch it. It made that 5-minute high. It was off the high of the day. Unfortunately, it kept being off the high of the day too. So, you're going to have your winners and your losers. There's no perfect scan. Not that I'm aware of anyways. I'm kind of scrolling up to see if anything else jumps out at me here. BHG. Oh, that caught a nice one there. So it alerted at $8. There's 30 cents on that. Not too shabby. And then we can add other things to this too. If we come to configure and we say, well, I want to make sure I'm finding stocks that are moving, so we could always come in here and we could come to average true range. Let's find the average true range, right? Standard average true range filter. So we could add that and we could say, well, I want to make sure things are moving. We could put a 1 in there, make sure we're moving. Got a decent range in there. See how that might have played out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare this one. I'm going to come into the configure and I'm going to name it version 2 for you. All right. So you got 2 to work with. So that's now saved with the other adjustments I made there. Save and share to the cloud. And this is kind of stuff that I'm here for, This is why I'm doing this. I want people to get out of the software what I got out of it, So there we go. That's yours forever and ever to do whatever you please, think, or like with that. And anybody else too. It's, not just Vin, anybody that, so, it's, the basis of a pullback alert though. We can play with those filter numbers. I just kind of arbitrarily threw those filter numbers in there. So, feel free to adjust that any which way you all see fit. So yeah, my pleasure, Vin. Let's see where we were looking at Holly. All right. So we kind of covered Zion there, Penn, Barstool there, or whatever you want to call it there. Or they merged with Barstool, whatever that was a couple of years ago. Strong stock pulling back. So let's see here. All right. So you had that wick. It was pulling back. She got it here off that wick, and it continued to pull back, unfortunately, for a little bit there. And didn't really hurt it, though, it doesn't look like. Trying to think here. All right, yeah. Sorry, just catching up with my brain in the chart here. So we came in, kind of horseshoed up after that. All right. So, one of those stocks you might not want to jump in right off the bat. I'm not a fan of jumping right in on any alert. And so this might have been something you said, well, that tall wick and she gets in on that pullback. All right. But do I want to get in when a wick like that just happened? Maybe not. All right. I don't know what your trading style is. Maybe you are one of those people that wants to chase it like that. I'm not. What you could have done is set a price alert here at the entrance, or even as it moved down, you could have set price alerts anywhere down here, and maybe even taken a shot at getting a better entrance in Holly. And you could have decided that maybe, afterwards, Holly, so you don't like Holly stop, you like the low of this candle as your stop as it was moving forward. Got into the money though, eventually. Not not too close to the stop here. Pretty good distance to that stop there, so we didn't get a reduced risk. Obviously, no stop out. Made a nice move. Had lots of time in this range up here at the top of that range to decide how to manage your trade right there. Pulled back here, and nice pull up at the end again. So it could be one of those cases where you might have been able to get a better price than Holly actually manually trading here using your trader's eye. You might have said, even here, you might have said here, not even the top, here, before you even get to the top, say, I got 200 shares of this thing. Let me sell half here and see how I'm feeling. All right. Moved your stop to break even, and you might be taking 100 shares home with you tonight with some strength in the market. For all I know, I don't know what your trading plan is, but having a trading plan could certainly put you in a position to do things like that. All right. We take a broader look here at this. This looks pretty strong too, actually. And we can start to see a nice move here in these days. So we put in a very nice base that's here. Moving off that base that's right there. So jumping through this here. Not unreasonable to think we're taking a shot at this level here. No happy accident that's all going to be coinciding there. Triple tops are rare, not unheard of. But could we be setting up for that right there? And you might even say, boom, 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 boom. Are we going to knock on this glass ceiling one more time and try to blast through it? It won't surprise me if we did. But again, you got a trading plan. You're following Holly. You could have very well set yourself up. Like I said, you got the trade somewhere. Maybe you got a better price. Maybe you didn't get a better price. Maybe you got in up here instead. Maybe you still sold half that shares up here. Maybe you sold half of it near the close. All right. Maybe you sold all of it at the close. Again, what's your trading plan? How'd that work for you? But Holly certainly gave you a good entrance and certainly put you in a position to make some money with that. And the same could be said for this guy here, Chegg. Faster mover, but all the same, you look at either one of these charts. She got it here. You were never in pain off that entrance whatsoever. And you get these three candles to have made a move before, the rug pull. But again, are you following her or are you following your trading plan? She's giving you a statistically weighted entry, all right? And she's giving you some time to make some money on that entry for sure. And again, did you get the entry there? No. Did you set a price alert here? And then on that second break of that entry, did you get in? All right. These are all ways that we could play Holly all through here. All right. And then, you get in the money and you see, wow, we just made a move, almost a buck move off that entry. Got 200 shares. We're pulling back now. I'm only up 60 cents off my entry. Let me get rid of half that. Move my stop to break even. Well, you know what? I got stopped out on the break even here, but I sold part of it up here somewhere. Again, how are you managing risk? What is your plan? Are you just blindly buying stocks? If so, stop it right now. Today was the last day you did that, right? That's stuff that was told to me a whole bunch of times. It wasn't the last day for about 400 other days, but after that last day. But, eventually it was. But they're not all winners from Holly, all right? And while everything here made it into the money at some point, realistically, there was no money on this trade, all right? I'm a realist. Call it as I see it. Was never a terrible trade. Never, we came that far down off the entrance here, and put a base in. So maybe we're setting something up for the next days. And we just discussed solars and tan and all those things like that. So unfortunately, Holly called it a little late here. Yes, it would have been wonderful if she had got it anywhere in here, anywhere in that section, but she didn't. And that's the way it goes. But certainly could be setting something up for the next days. This kind of hook that's coming in here, it's a little extended, but we see a lot of times where things just kind of go on a run like that anyway. So have your plan. If your plan says you can buy it extended because it's not extended according to your plan, awesome. Also note that, you do have some resistance that's coming in here, but also note that the tan has been pretty hot in the last weekish. Let's give or take. Let's take a look at the tan again. Yeah, so, we're going back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 trading days. The tan is up, 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 up. Ran right into itself into some resistance there. Did JKS run into the resistance there? I'm not sure, but we certainly know that we have the sector on our side. So certainly worth watching for the next day. Again, it was a late entry, unfortunately, for Holly. It wasn't a terrible entry. It was just late. That's all. So that's kind of my short and skinny for Holly on that side of things. Realistically, I don't think there's any money on this one here. Harmony, what is it? Harmony Biosciences. Um, she made the entry here. There was definitely some time to have gotten in the money here. What was the entry at 40, 43.15? You know, kind of deceiving because of the way it would have share sized for the stop loss being way down here. So, depending on your trading plan, there's some money to be made there for sure on that spread. She got out for a profit save here. So, moved up and unfortunately came back down. She let it come all the way back down to the entrance essentially. But there's a lot more time to have got out. There's definitely some more alpha to be had on that, more than I even realized. I didn't look at the alert earlier. I just kind of surmised from that max column that there wasn't so much alpha there. But there was look, 43.15 is the entry. $44 tops up here and didn't just run right up there instantly. You had time to get there and to get out of there. So, Holly delivered some really, really good stuff today, to be quite honest. And anyway, it's been here the last few weeks. I call it both ways. She's had her crap days. There's no doubt about it. She's had some really good days recently. Now, I know a lot of people, that I talk to and support a lot of users, they're all trying to just automate Holly. And unfortunately, the way automation is set up, automation might not have worked out so good on some of these really good days that she had. Automating the entrances might have worked out well with you managing the trade afterwards to not even let it come back like this. Realistically, especially on a 5-minute chart, you see you're topped out here and you're wobbly and you're wobbly and you're wobbly, you're wobbly for 30, 35 minutes. You're going to just sit there and watch your profit get eaten away only to watch it drop like that. I'd like to believe a decent trader is not going to let themselves do that. So, we got a virtual AI assistance here, and I suggest using it with the trading plan that you've got in place. That's for sure. Time flies when I jabber on. It seems like 4:27 here. People got questions. Stick around a couple of extra minutes today. Today's one of the rare day I don't have to run out of here right at 4:30. So if you've got questions, you want to look at a chart, you want another scan idea that you got, we went through 2 scans already. I'm happy to do that with anybody in here. If you're someone that just kind of wandered in here and, what the heck is going on, trade ideas, we scan the US stock market, got a lot of data points that you can create your own scans. We have lots of out of box scans. And, the support team here, myself and, Andy, Jamie, Steve, Michael, Steffi, Chris McKay, some of these guys you don't always see. They're behind the scenes kind of people, but they've always got my back. We can get you something. We can get a template together for you. Are we going to optimize it and back test it and bring it to the perfect scan? No, we don't do that for ourselves. But we can certainly get you something worthwhile. Anybody that watched that scan that I just built with Vin there, some pretty decent alerts right off the bat there. So that's what we are. We're trade ideas. We're not trade guarantees. We're trade ideas. And that's kind of the way that works. For anybody that wasn't here early, I went over some of the new beta items. If you were unaware, we released a new beta today. Okay. If you don't know that we have software updates, perhaps you don't have this set up in your software. So everybody here, right this moment, if you want to make sure you're always getting the updates here, and yes, Nicole, I'll go over TRQ in a moment. Go to Tools, go to Options, go to Upgrade, all right? And then you select Show Me, production releases only or all releases, because we have betas and productions. Today was a beta. Have the all release checked, okay? And every time, and make sure you save it, and every time there is an upgrade or an update to the software, your new will show up in green, okay? And when you click the green new, you're going to see an option to update that software. And when you do so, that will take you to our download page. That looks like this. And you will scroll down, and the top one is always going to be your production version. We don't always have a beta, but generally we have betas. I will scroll down and we will find, and yes, I will take a look at pins, and you will scroll down and find the beta. 2 notes to make. please, please, please do your homework. All right. There are a lot of notes that are here. Read them. If you find this boring, trading might not be for you then. Okay. It's powerful software. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of moving pieces. There are a lot of updates. Not all this will apply to everybody all the time. At the very least, please skim this, okay? Because you might come across something very important like known issues or limitations in this build. And you will find that there's a limitation with eTrade's API that we link to, and that it will crash your software and their software off the open if you're auto trading with the trade on the open strategy, okay? We put this right out here. This is not fine print. That's pretty big print. It's clear as day. All right. I know there's a lot to go through, but trading is hard. It's a worthwhile endeavor, though. All right. In the beta here, same thing. Everything that applied here in the production version applies down here unless otherwise stated. In here, we talk about issues made with the fixes made with the dock windows. We talk about things that we've added. All right. Now OddsMaker will show the results for 4 decimal places in sub-dollar stocks. Did not do that before. Now it does. All right. We've also added all these features with the formula editor, making it more convenient and easier for everybody to get to. We've added colorizations to the charts that were different than before. We've added linking, group linking, okay? We have added our Market Explorer. This is an incredible tool, all right? We have now given you the option for the TI alert algorithm, okay? TI strength alerts algorithm. You have that. So anybody that wasn't here earlier, okay, I'm going to get rid of that. If you come to new, you're going to find Market Explorer. None of this stuff exists for you, so forget about that. You have Market Explorer. You're going to click Market Explorer. You're going to get this window, okay? You're going to right click this window. You're going to go to server window. We now have an 820 cross. That's an 8 EMA and a 20 SMA crossing on a gapped stock on 2-minute charts. Is it going to make you all the money in the world? I highly doubt it. Is it going to give you some quality setups? That I'm sure of. All right. We don't have EMAs right now for traditional use, but Michael Noss went in and did all the math and put them into grids on his own on spreadsheets and has created this strategy just for you guys to have now. So do we have EMAs? Yes and no now. All right. We're working our way towards it. We're trying to make these things happen. We have an RSI divergence scan long. We have an RSI divergence scan short, both for daily charts. Here's your TI strength alerts. All right. Now you can see the whole list, not just what Michael Noss is publishing for the TI strengths and their scores and their ratings, the volume that was done, prices, the date that it made the alert. Okay. All these things in here. You right click, you can change it again in the server window. We have a daily bear flag, a daily bull flag now. All of these things we now have for you guys. This is the stuff that we're putting out. This is, the big stuff that we're doing behind the scenes. It doesn't happen in a flip of a switch, but that's a lot of stuff we just put out in the last few days. So please take the time to go through these, read the notes, come to us with questions. You can't get us, every day I'm here. Every single day I'm here, 3:30 Eastern, all right? Those who email in, this email address right here I'm sharing. Anybody that emails there knows that you're going to find me emailing you anytime between 5 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. Almost every single day, I'm answering emails all day long. So is Steffi, so is Andy, so is Steve. All right. There's a lot of us that are answering emails all day, every day. All right. So you got questions, you got access to us 18 plus hours a day, probably, between 2 hours of live Q&A, the traders room, our live chat, and this email address. All right. So that covers all that stuff. I saw the charts come in that we want to look at. If anybody has questions on anything I just went over, I can demonstrate any of it. Fire your questions away. We're going to look for now at TRQ. And keep in mind, anything I say about any of these charts, I am no CMT. I'm no expert. I got what I like to look at. Just kind of how I do. So resource ordinary share. Take a look at a bigger picture and then take a look at a shorter term picture. So the first thing I want to do here is draw a line for support here and see what that means for support. We're in a downtrend. Every time it's tried to buck that trend, it gets sold off. So, you've got whatever this run up was here. All right. And now you've got supply. It's probably accumulated all through here. All right. All that supply. And so far, every time it's tried to make a move, supply got dumped. Supply got dumped. Supply got dumped. Supply got dumped. Supply dumped. Supply dumped. Supply dumped. And then boom. All right. So we ask ourselves, at what point does that supply get exhausted? Number one. All right. That's what a question you have to ask yourself. I can't answer that. Then we can look back at a bigger picture here and see that that line that I just drew is a significant line in support and resistance, resistance, support, 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 support. All right. Even though it took a dip down here, really remains support overall. So that's your big line in the sand now. So can we build the base off this long term? All right. Kind of holding flat the last few days. I'm guessing there must have been some kind of news, a stock split, a share issuing. There's going to be something that went on there. I don't look at news because it influences my thought, and all I want to look at is a chart. I know an event happened. Now we ask ourselves, does that event carry weight? And I would say over the last few days it doesn't, because it made this gap down. It opened down here on that essentially and reversed all the way back here in the last few days. So now I see we have a tasty gap to fill here. All right. And I would say if we can get some consolidation here, some positive consolidation. By positive, I don't just mean price action. I mean not taking out, I would say, this kind of low in here, that $13 range-ish, give or take a few pennies. You might start to get something to close that gap. All right. If you are in it, and you're in it from up here or up here or up here, I certainly hope you had a stop. I certainly hope you have a plan. If you don't, there's not much anybody can do to help you with that other than figure out what your stop and your line in the sand is now, because the way these things work, when you don't have a stop or you're not obeying your stop, is the $50 loss becomes a $100 loss, becomes a $200 loss, becomes a $1,000 loss, becomes you can no longer trade anymore. All right. That's the story. That's how it goes every single time. So that's kind of my short and skinny on TRQ, gold and ore mining. So the last thing I'll say about that is that in a sector that is just beat down. If they mine anything else, if they mine copper, nickel, aluminum, anything else like that, that might be kind of a saving grace because those things have more practical world use. I can't think of one practical use for gold other than jewelry. And I'm not a I hate gold person. It's just I don't get gold. That's all it is. I'll trade anything I can make money on. I don't care what it is. But just hard when you see things like that and it just continues to bleed there. So that's and you're tied. You're tied to gold. That's all there is to it. GLD. Take a look here. GLD again. So, I don't think it's any happy accident that you've actually got this here and what you just saw with that chart that we're looking at there. So, that's it. You got that gap to work on. And $13 is your line in the sand at this point, I would say. Anything below $13, look out below again. Pins. I haven't looked at this chart in a long time. So, all right. This is how long it's been since I looked at this chart down here a long time ago. I just like to note this for Holly also. Not some bad buy signals there. That one, not so good. This one remains to be determined. But, not too shabby overall. If you had a trading plan, how to work that all. Let's move these pivot lines around, though, now. All right. And let's work it into this here. I don't think anything. There's usually not happy accidents with these pivot lines, or usually not coincidences, but happy accidents. So, that was definitely a line. That was a big, strong gap. It held that gap. It gapped and pulled again, tested and filled this gap we can see here, and then moved right off of that afterwards. It's come back down and now shows a lot of weakness off that gap. That looks like a double top to me. We could also call this a head and shoulders, shoulders, head, shoulders. So there's your shoulders, there's your head, there's your other shoulder moving down. It's a bearish pattern. So it looks like all that bearishness has now played out to a point. We come into the shorter term picture here. This is going to be a line in the sand, moving up as resistance goes right there. And remember, we could draw all the lines in the world. There's going to be whoopsies to every line. All right. You're going to see lines get pierced 2, 3, 4 days and then revert back over it or revert back under it and so on and so forth. There's no exact science to this. All right. The science behind it is draw the lines and do this for a long time. This seems to be a pretty significant line, here and again here. Like I said, there's your whoopsie on that line. All right. Before it was able to come back up. All right. What I'd like to see here is this be the base. All right. And start to build here. You got 1, 2 strong days in a row. It gapped up over the 50 today, showing strength. I wouldn't be surprised with the market on its side that it tries to make a move into 60 and we take a pause there. That would be my best guess off that chart, is that's what we kind of see at this point. And then the lines in the sand are pretty easy after that. This line is pretty significant. Hair above 60 looks to be significant. Your whole numbers are always going to be significant, up until you start to get into, over $100. Then, then your $2, $5 marks start to become more your whole dollar marks, in between that $10 and $50 range. Works like that. And then, when you get here, you got this gap. That's a tasty gap, but that's, there's work to be done, so you take it level by level. All right. If there's things if there's things you like, whether it's fundamental or technical that you're looking at too, I don't know what your trading plan is. If you're trying to day trade it, you're trying to swing trade it, maybe seeing the open tomorrow, it might not hurt that if you get it, get an open tomorrow and maybe a pullback. Like, so for example, what we saw today here. Why is my 15-minute chart not populating? Oops. And I see, Tom, your question. I am not ignoring it. So you see here, off this 15-minute chart, we get a gap up in that pullback, that washout bounce right there. I don't know if that's stop hunting, but it's again, I guarantee there's no happy accident that ran right into that level right here. That is not an accident, which also happens to coincide with this level back here, more or less. And like I said, whoopsies, they happen just above. All right. We're all looking at the exact same. So swing got it 2 days ago. All right. So, manage your risk, have your plan, obviously. So let's zoom in even a little bit more for you. So you got a nice entry. All right. You sat in some pain right there, obviously, that day on this. So it's there. And so I don't know where you entered it here, but it's kind of flattish on that day. And that gap down probably didn't feel very comfortable, but you reversed within 30 minutes and are in the money. And you're following this momentum average right here. That's an 8 EMA. You're following that the last couple of days. I mean, every time it tries to test it, all right, you can see that it crossed down here. So, maybe on the open, maybe you put in a high bid order up here to sell half your slot here at 56 again, in case 56 seems to be a problem for you to get through. And, this is my thought as a trader. This is not my suggestion to you. All right. I'm just, spitballing here what I might do if I had been in it, and you sell a third or a quarter or a half or whatever, something like that. And you start to move your stop up a little bit. I mean, I know it's a crappy feeling to move a stop up and sell part and then to watch it go without you. But I promise you, there is no crappier feeling than being in the money and then watching it go red. I cannot think of a worse feeling trading. Literally cannot think of a worse feeling. And you are speaking to the master of doing that. So that's kind of my thoughts there. Those are your levels. Strong gap above that 50. But 56 could be a tough level for you. That's my thought. Tom, when you set the gap up scanner, is it better to just gap up or use the greater than 4% gap up? When you set the gap up scanner, is it better to just gap up? Yeah, you're welcome, Jermaine. We do this every day. So I do this every day at 3:30 Eastern. Usually I'm done at 4:30, but like I said, if people keep me engaged and I don't have to run out of here, I will stick around for a little bit longer. So, please join us. Tom, just trying to get my head around what you wrote there. When you set the gap up scanner, better to just gap up or use the greater than. Well, it's a twofold thing for here. Do you want to see things that have gapped up 4% or better, or do you just want to see stuff that's gapped up essentially? Again, we could take it, to tools. If I was just doing this strictly for pre-market only, I'm sorry, not tools, new top list. If I'm just looking in the pre-market after, anything when I did look at the pre-market, anything I used for pre-market scanning was gone for market open. I keep separate layouts for the two of those. I don't really look at the pre-market anymore, but I have a layout that's only for pre-market. So I don't have things running all day long that really just pre-market data for me. So if I was looking at the pre-market and I'm trying to scan the pre-market, I mean, the way I personally would do it if I'm looking for things moving in the pre-market is this. Start a top list. Let's go to configure the window here, specific windows. Let's get rid of anything that's not there. I don't care about average day, average volume over days, because if today's it's a day in the sun, I don't want the average volume screwing with it. Just for fun, let's put a price range in here, $1 to $100. All right. I want to see it's doing some volume today. If something has done, 10,000 shares by, 9 o'clock a.m., I don't think that really has a lot to say as far as pre-market goes. Something's done 100,000 shares by 9 a.m. Eastern in the pre-market. That's something to say. So where's that line you want to draw? What kind of shares do you want to see done by what kind of time? How early? I also used to, when I scanned the pre-market, I had one scan that I like to look at from 7 o'clock in the morning to 8 in the morning, and then I had another scan that I looked at from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Because if something had done 10,000 shares at 7 o'clock and then had done 11,000 shares by 9 o'clock, that meant that stock meant nothing to me in the pre-market at that point. To do 10,000 shares by 7 o'clock, okay, maybe we have something. It only does another 1,000 shares over an hour. That doesn't mean anything anymore. So these are the things we ask ourselves building any kind of scan like that. All right. So for an arbitrary number, let's put, I want to see something in the pre-market. Let's say 15,000 shares. That's a good number to start with for generally scanning the pre-market. All right. So I want to know there's some liquidity. I want to know there's some interest in it. If something gapped up 200% and it traded one share, that doesn't mean crap. There's no liquidity in it. That means nothing. Yeah, it gapped up, whatever. But who bought it? Who bought the one share? You're certainly not getting it. You can buy that one share gapped up, but you're certainly not getting a fill at the lower end of that range. We can't use a relative volume in the pre-market. That won't work like that. But, we want to see some kind of change from close. Obviously, that works well for us. So let's say, I want to see something that moved a little bit. We can use a change from close instead of the gap filter, and we could say 2%. I want to see at least 2% change from close. All right. And then we could say, I want to see things that have the real potential to move. So I don't want to see things with a real high float. So we can come back to the search, and we can look at float. All right, let's look at float. Oops, I typed the wrong thing there, float. All right, so back to the search. So there's float as a filter. I'm going to add that filter, and I want to say, I want to make sure stuff can move. So let's say I don't want to see anything with more than 250 million in the float. All right, so there's 250,000 million. Did I do that right? Sorry, I can't see well. 250, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's 250 million in the float right there for us. All right. And so now, we're telling ourselves in the summary, we're looking at stocks that are between $5 and $100. They'd have to have traded at least 15,000 shares to this point. They got to be up 2% from the previous day's close. I don't want to see anything higher than 250 million in the float. And then we have our sort. All right. How are we going to sort this data that it comes in? I like to sort on the change from close because we're looking at stuff that's moving, right? And I see Fast Johnny, I see Joe's stuff coming in. I'll get to what you got there in a moment. All right. And so that's how I'm sorting the data coming in like that. And I click OK. All right. And it's going to bring me to summary, and we can call this pre-market movers. All right. You rename it whatever you want. I'm going to click OK. And for now, it's going to show me stuff because it's a live scan. It's going to show me stuff. But I had this loaded earlier during the day. We can go to time frame. Let's go to use historical date. I'm going to use today, and let's go with 7:30 a.m. today. let's see what popped through here. All right. And there we go. There's a list of stocks that came through here today. All right. That would have been here on this scan at 7:30 in the morning. And let's see if any of them had anything to say for the day. So now on a top list, it's going to show you a 5-minute clip of the historical data. So please note that for the data. So, that was looking somewhere around here at 650. It came in. That was the kind of move that it made later in the day today. So, we were looking at it here in the pre-market, and it looks like it was struggling with the pre-market here, couldn't get through it, and then it made its move late day here, all right? But, it's something you could put on your radar, could have set a price alert. Looks like garbage because even though it had done, this goes back to what I discussed, it had done 15,000 shares by 7:30 in the morning, all right? However, it only did another 60,000 shares plus after that. That's nothing, did no volume today whatsoever. All right. That can't be accurate. Why is that not showing? Oh, I'm sorry. This is showing the volume from then. This is how many shares that had done to that point. I'm sorry. I thought this was current data in the volume. Sorry, long day here. So, all right. So that's what we're looking at. And, it was a wobbly stock. It didn't do anything. Same thing today. I know any fell for the rest of the day, but, it started to make a move with a lot of volume in the pre-market. BITF, same kind of thing here. Yeah, I mean, it's just that, what I say, Tom, is what I'm looking for in a pre-market is not what I'm looking for in the live market. I might be looking for stuff that's doing things in the pre-market to set me up for the live market, but I want to scan. I'm not scanning the pre-market the same way I'm scanning the live market. So anyways, that's what we did here in that. I'm going to set this to live always, and I'm going to share this with you. One last note before I share it. If we right click and we come to time frame, we look at set record count, it is only going to pull in the top 100 stocks on the change from close filter. So if there are more stocks that meet this than 100, only those top 100 with the largest change from close are going to be in this. Now at 7:30, we were well under 100. So I think, we're more than great there. All right. And then, like I said, I like to sort on the change from close percent. That's going to be this column here. So now you see it's even color coded to that. And if we take it one step further, properties, select colors, we see that the color coding is for specifically that filter. We could change it to whatever filter we want. That'll just change the color coding, how it does the gradient here for it. All right. Being the color scheme where the lowest, the most negative are going to be that dark red and the most positive are going to be that dark green. So that's that. Right click, save or share to cloud, save and share, copy. And this gives you something to work with there. I personally think have a layout or set of scans or whatever you want to call it for the pre-market, have one for the live market. Keep them separate. And this way it also keeps your workload on your machine down too. So that's that. All right, now what do we have coming in here? Tom, give you stock with similar daily pins. What are your thoughts on Apron? Apron did a move and then a pullback and then a move, and then I lost track of it. So let's take a look here. Eventually. There we go. Gotta press enter, Chris. Oh, APPN. I thought that was going to be Apron. Sorry. Completely different stock. Yes, very similar to pins. So I'll start with the same thing I like to do. Let's go to a recent low. That recent low is going to be more here on the daily chart. Let's mark that up. I'm a big fan of the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, because on occasion I certainly can be stupid. So the simpler I keep things, the better. Now this will be one of those whoopsie moments that I talk about. All right, that's your support right now. Now I know it poked through there, but again, these aren't exact sciences here. These pivot lines. All right. Everybody and their mother's looking at the same stuff. Every algorithm, every whatever, 30 mil in the float, 39 mil in the float, give or take. So, software publishers, looks like you're just caught in a bad downtrend right now. That's your line in the sand. I don't know where you own it from, but with pins, at least it gapped up and over the 50-day moving average, you gapped into the 50-day today and got, couldn't get back by it here on that $98 move, that move at $98. Long term, let's back this way out. We're way off the all-time highs. Oof. So, 260. How do I know that? There's two ways. One, I have a lifetime high filter that's in my single stock window. Take a look back here. That looks right to me. That all looks good. Now this massive move, so you got a lot of supply right there, is my guess. Okay, and you're going to find every time that supply, or every time we make a move, that supply is going to be meeting the demand looking for it. When does that get exhausted? When do the people here holding that say, I've had enough? There may be people here that think this thing's going to the moon. I have no idea. I don't know anything about the company. But so those are the things that I'm looking at. You also had, what I would consider as beautiful horseshoe up and rejected right off that line again, right there. So this is your base. There's a lot of work to be done. Get over that 50 moving average. And then you got resistance there. 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 So barring something to really get it moving for some reason, that's a tough one. It's not anything I'm looking at personally. Only 390,000 shares traded today. That's about in line what it's doing over the last 10 days. You can see there's not a lot of volume in here. The last time I had some volume was way back here in the mid-late spring. And then in the early spring, it was kind of dead on the volume before you had that volume up through here on these massive days there. So, RSI is moving up, but so is the price action. So that's to be expected. So that's what I'm seeing, that stuff off that chart there for APPN. A lot of work to do. You get above the 50 and then you're taking a shot at that level there. That's going to be, your $105 level, give or take. All right. And remember, those whole, a number like $100 is a really psychological number. When a stock gets below $100 after making a run like that is not, barring some kind of news to blast it through there, price action alone, people just becoming interested because it's going to be a tough area. A lot of people are going to see that $100 and be sellers there. That's my 2 cents there. Got it. Thanks. Yeah, perfect. PLB. Y. Take a look there. So, here's your base. That's a nice long standing base. Boom, move, boom, move, boom. So you got two things that can happen here. I can see this going one way or the other. A shallow head and shoulders or triple top. All right. Is it that way? All right. Do we see it that way or do we see it this way? All right. Now, it could go either way. Both are very viable. I would say that right now. But for the bulls right now, you're above this level. All right. And you closed it like a pro above that level. You're above the 50. You gapped above it. You took it, slam dunked it home like that. And so I would say that, being through there, probably a good shot at up here afterwards. So that's 28 and change, probably this level, right? 29, sorry. You're not going to want to go chasing it if you're in it already. Manage where you are. I would say, 2 big days like that, you're coming off, this was 23, 22, so you're talking over, almost a $6 move in 2 days. If your trading plan says it's not a chase, get on it. If your trading plan says a chase, I'd let it try to consolidate through there for a couple of days. But, you blasted through some significant resistance there. 4 times regular volume over the last 10 days, 2.6 mil shares traded today, small float. So these are all noteworthy things. Massive short float, massive short growth. So this is already being heavily bet on to fall, and people are increasing that bet too. So keep that in mind. You've got people betting against you, and a good amount of that float is betting against you at this point. So like I said, how do we see it? Do we see it this way, or do we see it this way? Quickest way to find a list of gold tickers, Google. That's what I would do. You could also do this. Well, let's take a look here. Right click, configure symbols list, add existing list. What do we got in here? Possibly we have something in here already figured for you. Sorry, I need to expand this. My eyes are starting to bug out of my head. Sectors. Mining. All right. Mining, oil, gas. Mining, oil, gas. Mining except oil and gas. All right. So coal, metal, ore. So you could, create a top list and have it only look at some of these sectors in here. All right. You could do that. ETFs. Nothing there. Oops. Yep, that's what we got in there. So you can look at that and see what stocks are coming through there. Just trying to look if any of these other things look like they might have something for you. Manufacturing, construction. So metal, ore mining, and then look, you can got the subsectors that are gold and silver, copper, nickel, gold, other ore mining. All right. So in the sector lists like this, you can find those. No way to just say show me gold. You can do with these lists here. All right. So, you can create a scan and have it only look at those. And if you ever want to remove a list from your lists that are here, starts to get hairy, right click, remove from list. Right click, remove from this list. All right. That would be that would be my way to do it. When I update certain symbols lists, I just go in and I do a search. So for example, the Tech Titans list, when I updated that a few weeks ago, I went in and I picked I put like the top 90 something market cap weighted stocks on the Tech Titans list is what I did. Probably need to go and update that again sometime in the near future. Covered that. Yeah, you could look at InfiniViz. Like I said, you could just attach to one of those symbols lists that's in there and see the stocks that come through it. Just put no filters on it on the top list, and it's going to have a list of stocks for you there. It's going to list them. ATER is moving. Let's take a quick look, and then I'm going to start to wrap it up as we are after 5 o'clock. ATER. Eventually, I'll type this right. ATER. What is this? Electric housewares. I feel like this was on my list recently, but I didn't trade it. It's a new issue, right? Yeah, it's a new issue. And you are quite welcome there, Perfect Circle. I'm not sure if it, there was a short-lived move or something, or maybe it was up here afterwards. I don't really look at pre-market or post-market data on my charts unless something to look at. But let's throw it on here just for fun. Properties, right-click, show post-market data. So yeah, blipped up here a little bit higher. It's funny, people relative volume think it's like the answer to everything, and this traded 30 million shares today, but had a relative volume of 0.73. So again, it's all relative. If you had a scan that's, why didn't this show on my scan? It traded 30 million shares and, it was a really liquid stock and it was moving today. And well, yeah, its relative volume was, your relative volume filter is 3 and the relative volume was less than 1. Of course it wasn't going to show. The reason why that is it's looking at a 10-day average. All right. So that's where we're at on a 10-day average. So that's that. Maybe he's putting in a base here. Kind of jumbled up into the pocket of these moving averages, so not a lot to comment on there. That's your level. Got a lot of levels within levels, basically, though, with this, all this new action that's in here. And that's my short and skinny on ATR. No position, looking for a bounce play on SAS. That's not a symbol, or I lost connection. Mm, it's like I'm not sure what it is, but we ain't got data on it if it really exists as a stock. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. Look, look, I recognize there are things that we don't do, and believe me, most of the people that work here, um, have been here a long, 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 long time. When this product had not even half of what it has now, maybe at best a third for a lot of them. So, as someone who came in after 90% of this platform was built, there were things that I've wanted for a long time. And I came in and I thought, well, now that I work here, maybe I can grease the wheels a little bit faster. And then, once they start to explain things to me that just go so far over my head as far as programming goes, it is what it is. It comes to the fact is what was literally told to me once was if there was a switch for us to flip to turn it on, we would flip that switch. It doesn't exist. So, that's a lecture that I got when I, not right when I got here, but after, a while of like, hey, why don't we have this? Why can't we do this? Well, what about this thing? Um, get rid of this post market data. So that's the short and skinny of life over here today. I'll take a look at one other thing. Today's Tuesday, right? So yeah, next week Steve has his trade of the week webinar. This was the trade of the week call this week. REI, hoping it catches a tailwind here. These moving averages have caught it now. And this has been carrying it for quite a while here. It was holding tight here for a while. It took a couple day dip under that 8 EMA and then touched it, gone, touched it, gone, touched it, gone, touched it good, touched it good, touched it, held. Rubber meets road here tomorrow, it looks like. We'll see what happens. $4 was the trigger. It did trigger yesterday. Wait, is today Tuesday or today? I don't even know what day it is anymore. Tuesday. That was no joke. I really didn't know what day it was for a second. Popped up over that yesterday here, trying to hold it here. We'll see what happens. I'm very bullish natural gas overall still. UNG, made that massive run up, put a pull back in, put another pull back in now. So there's your big run up, a pull back, a run up, again, a pull back, attempted to run up. Now it's back down here again. It's your line. I think that line matters more than anything else at this moment. Your energy bulls are going to want to see a move up tomorrow. I think that's a big deal to make that move up tomorrow, and hopefully REI can catch a tailwind on that tomorrow. I will say that there have been moments over the last few weeks where nat gas stocks have decoupled from the UNG. MGY comes to mind. That was also making all-time new highs. So, this was just kind of steady up. That does not look good there for MGY. But we'll see how that shakes out with the price action tomorrow. Lifetime high. So it's sitting right there at a lifetime high. But that red bar ignore, that's a hefty red bar ignore, especially on a day where nat gas was actually up and closed up, closed strong actually, nat gas. So, that's what this chart looks like, big picture. So anyways, that's the trade of the week. So throw my 2 cents in there on that. I didn't enter it yesterday. I'm kind of looking to enter it. I was going to enter it today, and then I got stuck trying to help someone set up Brokerage Plus today. So, and just kind of got away from me on REI. I am looking to enter it. We'll see if it happens or not. I was looking at it as it was approaching 4 again here. So take a look at it again. If it gets up in this range again today, a few pennies on a stock like this matter, especially when you're, smaller stocks, share sizing a little larger sometimes. So, got my plan. Hopefully you got yours, and that's that. So, all right, everybody, did a 40-minute overtime on this today. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of it. We shared some scans. We built some stuff. Anybody that just came in, we do this every single day, 3:30 Eastern. Monday through Friday. I do this at least an hour. Trade Ideas software here. So if you're catching the replay and you're just getting to the end of this again, you got a shot to come back here. Same way on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, all those wonderful things that people that promote say, and all those things like that. So, all right, everybody, thanks a lot. Have a great time. Have a great night. Be safe. Have fun. All those great things. And we will catch you back here 3:30 Eastern tomorrow. Take care and bye-bye.